What if the greatest victory of your life was also the beginning of your end? What if survival was not a prize, but a life sentence of fear, surveillance, and unbearable pressure? Today, we are not talking about a philosophical thought experiment. We are talking about the brutal reality for a girl who won a game designed to kill her, only to discover the real games, the ones for the soul of a nation, were just beginning. She thought she had won her freedom. Instead, she became the most dangerous thing in the world, a symbol of hope. And in the eyes of a tyrant, hope is treason. Welcome, truth seekers, to our deep dive into a world where the fire of rebellion is about to be caught. The story we are exploring today is Suzanne Collins' masterpiece of dystopian fiction, the second book of the Hunger Games trilogy, Catching Fire. If you thought the first book was a harrowing journey, you must understand that the 74th Hunger Games were merely the prelude. Catching Fire is the symphony of a world pushed to its breaking point. The central problem of this book is one of the most compelling in modern literature. What happens after the hero wins? What is the cost of defying an all-powerful, totalitarian state, not with an army, but with a single, desperate act of love? Our protagonist, Katniss Everdeen, returns to District 12 not as a hero, but as a problem to be solved. Her defiant stand with the poisonous berries in the first book, which saved both her and Peeta Mellark, was not seen by the Capitol as the act of a love-crazed teenager. It was seen as a challenge, a spark that, if left unattended, could grow into an inferno that destroys Panem. The problem for Katniss is that she is now a public figure, a victor, living in the gilded cage of the victor's village. She is haunted by the faces of the children she killed, plagued by nightmares, and trapped between her genuine, complicated feelings for her hunting partner, Gale, and the epic romance she must perform with her fellow victor, Peeta. The grand promise of Catching Fire is to take you beyond the arena and into the treacherous landscape of politics, propaganda, and revolution. Suzanne Collins promises to show us that the horrors of the games are not confined to the annual bloodbath, but are woven into the very fabric of society. This book promises to explore the psychological toll of trauma, the burden of becoming a symbol, and the agonizing choices one must make when love for your family is pitted against the hope of a nation. It asks a devastating question in a world built on lies. Can you ever truly know who your friends are? Can you even trust yourself? So, settle in, because we are about to journey back to Panem, to a world where a single spark is about to set the whole world on fire, and Katniss Everdeen is holding the match. Catching Fire begins not with a bang, but with the quiet, chilling dread of a survivor. Katniss is living in the Victor's Village, a street of 12 luxurious houses reserved for District 12's champions. Only 3 are occupied, one for her, one for Peeta, and one for their broken, alcoholic mentor, Haymitch Abernathy. This supposed reward is in reality a prison of velvet and mahogany. Katniss is rich, famous, and more terrified than she has ever been. The woods, once her sanctuary, are now a place of secrets and fraught tension with Gale, who struggles to reconcile the girl he knows with the girl who kissed Peeta for the cameras. The easy camaraderie they once shared is gone, replaced by a painful awareness of the act she is forced to live. Her relationship with Peeta is even worse. In public, they are Panem's star-crossed lovers. In private, they are 2 strangers, shattered by the same trauma, barely able to look each other in the eye. This fragile, fractured piece is obliterated by the arrival of the most powerful man in Panem. President Coriolanus. Snow does not summon Katniss to the Capitol. He appears in the study of her own home, an act of supreme intimidation. He is small, white-haired, and his breath carries the cloying, artificial scent of roses, which he uses to mask the smell of blood from the sores in his mouth that never heal. He is a walking personification of his regime, a veneer of civility hiding a core of rot. His message is simple and horrifying. Katniss's stunt with the berries was not a success. While the Capitol may have bought her lovelorn act, the districts did not. They saw defiance, and that defiance has lit sparks of rebellion across Panem. He tells her, if a girl from District 12 of all places can defy the Capitol and walk away unharmed, what is to stop them from doing the same? What is to prevent, say, an uprising? The stakes are laid bare. Katniss is about to embark on her victory tour, a propaganda parade through all 12 districts. Snow's command is absolute. She must use this tour to convince everyone, including him, that her actions were born of nothing but uncontrollable love for Peeta. She must sell the romance so perfectly that it quells the unrest and extinguishes the hope she accidentally ignited. If she fails, everyone she loves will pay the price. He lingers on the word, cousins, letting her know he sees right through the lie about Gale. The threat is not just to her, but to her mother, her sister Prim, and to Gale and his entire family. In a final, chilling whisper as he leaves, Snow reveals he knows everything. By the way, I know about the kiss. The kiss that Gale gave her in the woods. Nothing is secret, no one is safe. And so, the victory tour begins. It is a masterclass in psychological torture. Katniss and Peeta are forced back into their roles, their every touch, every smile, a performance for their lives. The tour takes them first to District 11, the home of Rue, the small girl Katniss allied with and failed to save in the arena. Standing before Rue's family, the official, capital, scripted words feel hollow. Peeta, in an unplanned moment of genuine compassion, pledges to give 1 month of their winnings to the families of Rue and her district partner, Thresh, every year for the rest of their lives. It is a stunning, unprecedented act of generosity. Moved by his sincerity, Katniss kisses him, and for the first time, it feels real. But then, she sees Rue's younger sister in the crowd, her face a mask of reproach. Katniss realizes she hasn't said thank you. She hasn't honored them. And so, she speaks from the heart, about the debt she owes to Rue and Thresh. And then it happens. An old man in the crowd whistles Rue's note Mockingjay signal. And in perfect, chilling unison, the entire crowd raises their left hand, presses their 3 middle fingers to their lips, and extends them to her. It is the gesture of farewell from District 12, the last goodbye she gave Rue in the arena. It is a salute, an act of solidarity, an act of rebellion. Katniss has failed. She was meant to quell the districts, and instead, she has just fanned the flames. The feed is cut. As they are being ushered away, they see the old man dragged to the stage and executed with a bullet to the head. This is the new reality. The Capitol is not playing. The spark has indeed caught fire. The rest of the tour is a blur of manufactured smiles and mounting dread. In several districts, the cheering crowds have a dangerous, furious energy. Katniss and Peeta's performance becomes more desperate. They grow closer, united in their terror, finding solace in each other's arms at night, simply to ward off the nightmares. The lie of their love story begins to feel strangely like the only truth they have left. Back in District 12, things are worse. A new head peacekeeper, Romulus Thread, has replaced the relatively benign Cray. He is a creature of the capital, cruel and unflinching. The hob, the district's black market, is burned to the ground. Punishments become public and brutal. The fence around the district is now electrified 24 hours a day. The cage has been reinforced. Then, one day Gale is caught with a wild turkey. He is dragged to the square and whipped, a raw, bloody spectacle of the capital's power. Katniss throws herself in the way of the lash, taking a blow to her own face. It is only the intervention of Haymitch and Peeta, playing on Katniss's value to the capital as a celebrity, that saves Gale's life. As Katniss grapples with the escalating brutality and her own powerlessness, she receives another shock. On a secret broadcast meant only for the mayor, she witnesses a full-scale uprising in District 8. It's real. People are fighting back, and they are dying. The weight of it all, the guilt and the fear, becomes almost unbearable. Her plan to run away with her family and Gale's feels like a selfish fantasy. But what is the alternative? To stay is to be a pawn. To fight is to invite annihilation upon her home. The first part of the book ends with Katniss torn between 2 impossible paths, a girl on fire who is beginning to realize she might be the one to burn her whole world down. The second part of Catching Fire, titled The Quell, begins with a whisper of impossible hope. Hiding in the woods, Katniss encounters 2 runaways from the uprising in District 8, Bonnie and Twill. They are headed for a place that, according to the capital, no longer exists. District 13. They claim it was not destroyed, but that its people moved underground. Their evidence, a fleeting glimpse of a Mockingjay, the same Mockingjay on Katniss's pin, in the corner of the same stock footage of the ruins that the capital has been broadcasting for decades. It's a fragile, almost ludicrous theory, but it plants a seed in Katniss's mind. A third option. A place beyond the capital's reach. This seed of hope, however, is about to be buried under an avalanche of despair. As Panem gears up for the 75th Hunger Games, it is time for the third quarter quell. Every 25 years, the games are marked by a special, sadistic twist to remind the districts of their defeat. President Snow appears on television to read from a card written 75 years ago when the laws of the games were first created. He recounts the previous quills. For the 25th games, the districts had to vote for their own tributes, forcing them to be complicit in the slaughter. For the 50th games, the year Haymitch won, each district had to send twice as many tributes. And for the 75th games, Snow pulls out the card. His voice is steady, triumphant. On the 75th anniversary, as a reminder to the rebels that even the strongest among them cannot overcome the power of the capital, the male and female tributes will be reaped from their existing pool of victors. The words detonate in Katniss's living room. Existing pool of victors. In District 12, there are only 3. Haymitch, Peeta, and Katniss. 2 male, 1 female. The math is simple. The result is absolute. Katniss Everdeen is going back into the arena. The announcement shatters her. Her only goal becomes to ensure Peeta survives. She goes to Haymitch drunk and broken and makes him promise that if his name is drawn, he will not let Peeta volunteer. This time, they will dedicate their every effort to keeping Peeta Mellark alive. It is a reversal of the pact Haymitch and Peeta made for her in the last games. It is her dying wish. The journey back to the capital is a funeral procession. The reaping is a formality. Katniss's name is drawn. Haymitch's name is drawn. And just as they all knew he would, Peeta volunteers to take Haymitch's place. The star-crossed lovers from District 12 are going back to the arena. Together, the days leading up to the games are a whirlwind of strategy and psychological warfare. They are forced to train and live alongside the other victors, people they've watched on television for years. And there's the handsome and charismatic Finnick Odair from District 4, who won his games at 14 with a trident. There's the vicious Johanna Mason from District 7, who won by pretending to be a weakling. There are Beatty and Wyress from District 3, nicknamed Nuts and Volts, who are brilliant inventors but socially awkward. Katniss is forced to try and make allies, a task she despises, knowing she will eventually have to kill them. The interviews before the games become the victor's last stand. One by one, they take the stage, and instead of boasting, they subtly and brilliantly turn the crowd against the capital. They speak of the bonds they've formed, the love the capital's citizens have for them, and question the cruelty of sending them back to die. By the time it's Katniss's turn, the audience is in an uproar. She appears in a stunning wedding dress, chosen by President Snow himself to maximize her humiliation. When Caesar Flickerman, the host, asks her to twirl, the dress transforms. It burns away, revealing another costume underneath. A dress of black feathers, with white patches on the sleeves that become wings. Cinna, her stylist, has turned her into a mockingjay. It is a breathtaking, revolutionary act performed on the capital's biggest stage. But the final blow comes from Peeta. He tells the audience that he and Katniss are already secretly married, according to a District 12 tradition. And then, he drops the bomb that will shake Panem to its core. He announces that Katniss is pregnant. The crowd explodes. The idea of a pregnant tribute being sent to her death is too much even for the bloodthirsty capital audience. The tributes on stage in a final, spontaneous act of unity join hands a line of defiance against the anthem. The broadcast is cut, but it's too late. The whole world has seen. Before Katniss is sent to the arena, she is forced to watch as her stylist Cinna is beaten bloody and dragged away by peacekeepers. It is a final warning. Defiance has a price, and as she rises into the arena, she finds herself not in a forest or a desert, but on a small metal plate surrounded by an endless expanse of salt water. Her last thought is a grim one. This is no place for a girl on fire. The arena for the 75th Hunger Games is a work of diabolical genius. Katniss and the other 23 victors find themselves on spokes of land radiating from a central island, the cornucopia, all surrounded by salt water. It is a tropical paradise that is, in fact, a death trap. Katniss quickly realizes this is no ordinary arena. It is a clock. With the help of Wyress, who mutters, tick-tock, and Peeta, who maps it out, they discover that every hour, a new, specific horror is unleashed in one of the 12 wedge-shaped sectors of the jungle. From 12 to 1, it's a lightning storm. From 1 to 2, a blood rain. From 2 to 3, a poisonous fog. From 3 to 4, a pack of flesh-eating monkeys. Katniss and her newfound uneasy allies, Peeta, Finnick, Johanna, Beatty, and Wyress, must navigate this deadly timetable while fending off the other victors. The alliances are fragile and fraught with suspicion. Katniss is certain she must eventually kill everyone to save Peeta. Yet, she observes a strange pattern. The other victors in her group seem to be protecting Peeta at all costs. When the poison fog descends, it is Mags, Finnick's elderly mentor, who walks into it to die so that Finnick can carry the weakened Peeta to safety. When a pack of monkey mutations attacks, it is a morphling addict from District 6 who throws herself in front of Peeta, taking the fatal bite. Finnick takes a knife in the leg meant for Peeta. Johanna risks her life to lead the others away from danger. Katniss is bewildered. Why are they all sacrificing themselves for him? What deal did Haymitch make? The psychological torture of the arena is relentless. In one sector, they are tormented by jabberjays, genetically engineered birds that can mimic human voices. The birds torture Katniss and Finnick with the sound of their loved ones screaming in agony. Prim for Katniss, and a girl named Annie for Finnick. The screams are so real, so full of pain, that they are nearly driven mad, convinced the capital is torturing their families back home. They are trapped in the sector by an invisible wall, forced to listen until the hour is up. It is an attack not on the body, but on the heart, and it leaves them broken. As the number of tributes dwindles, Beatty, the brilliant inventor from District 3, devises a plan. He intends to harness the power of the lightning that strikes a massive tree at 12 o'clock every day. He will run a special, conductive wire from the tree down to the beach and into the salt water. When the lightning hits, it will electrocute the entire beach and anyone in the water, hopefully wiping out the remaining career tributes, Brutus and Enobaria. The plan is set in motion at night. Katniss and Johanna are tasked with taking the coil of wire down to the beach, while Peeta and Finnick stay with Beatty at the lightning tree. But on their way down, the wire is cut. The alliance is broken. Katniss is attacked. She is hit on the head, and as she's fading into unconsciousness, she feels Johanna digging a knife into her arm, ripping it open. It seems like a betrayal, but Johanna hisses, "Stay down," before fleeing. Brutus and Enobaria appear but leave Katniss for dead. Katniss, wounded and disoriented, believes she has been betrayed by everyone. Her only thought is to get back to Peeta, to save him from Finnick. But as she stumbles back toward the lightning tree, she remembers Haymitch's last words to her, "You just remember who the enemy is." And in a moment of stunning clarity, she understands. The other victors are not her enemy. The enemy is the capital. The enemy is the force that puts them in this arena to kill each other. She finds Beatty unconscious by the tree, a knife wrapped in his wire. He was not trying to kill the other tributes. He was trying to destroy the arena itself. As Finnick and Enobaria close in on her, and with Peeta's voice screaming her name in the distance, Katniss knows what she must do. She wraps the wire around her arrow, aims not at her fellow victors, but at the shimmering, almost invisible weak point in the force field high above, the chink in the armor that Beatty showed her in training. Just as the lightning strikes the tree, she lets the arrow fly. The arrow hits its mark. The force field explodes in a shower of blue light. The dome over the arena shatters. The ground erupts. The capital's perfect clock is broken. Katniss is thrown backward, paralyzed, as the world comes crashing down around her. A hovercraft appears above, and a claw descends to lift her from the ruins. Her last thought is that she has failed, that she has condemned Peeta to death, and that the capital will now make her pay in the most public and painful way imaginable. She is brought aboard the hovercraft and finds not torturers, but Haymitch, Finnick, and Plutarch Heavensby, the head gamemaker himself. She learns the truth. There was a plan all along, orchestrated by a secret network of rebels to rescue her from the arena. She, the Mockingjay, is the symbol of the revolution. Plutarch is one of them. Half the tributes were in on it. Johanna didn't attack her. She cut out the capital's tracker from her arm. But the plan went wrong. Peeta, along with Johanna, was captured by the capital. Katniss, consumed with grief and rage, attacks Haymitch for letting Peeta be taken. As she is sedated, she is told they are on their way to District 13. It is real. But the book ends with one final, devastating revelation. Gale is there by her bedside. He tells her she can't go home. And when she asks why, he delivers the final 3 words of the novel. Katniss, there is no District 12. The capital has firebombed it off the face of the earth. So why is Catching Fire a must-read, even a decade after its release? What makes it so radically different from other young adult or dystopian novels? It's the sheer, unflinching maturity with which it handles its themes. This is not a story that pulls its punches. Collins refuses to give us an easy hero or a simple path. Katniss is not a willing revolutionary. She is a traumatized girl forced into a role she never wanted. The book's unique essence lies in its brutal honesty about the cost of war and the nature of symbols. It shows that revolutions are not glorious, but messy, terrifying, and built on a foundation of agonizing moral compromises. This book is for the reader who has outgrown simple tales of good versus evil. It is for anyone who has ever felt the weight of expectation, who has struggled with trauma, or who has wondered what it truly means to fight for something bigger than yourself. It's for the thinkers, the questioners, the ones who look at the world and see the cracks in the system. Who is this book not for? It is not for the faint of heart. It is not for those who need a happy ending neatly tied up in a bow. It's a book that will leave you on a cliffhanger, breathless and devastated, but also electrified with the possibility of what comes next. The single most valuable takeaway from Catching Fire is a profound and unsettling truth sometimes. To build a new world, you must first be willing to watch the old one burn. And sometimes, the spark that starts the fire comes from the most unlikely of places. We started this journey by asking what happens when victory becomes a death sentence. We followed Katniss Everdeen through a propaganda tour that ignited a rebellion and a rigged game that was designed to break her spirit. But it failed. Catching Fire is the answer to that question, and the answer is a revolution. This summary has only given you the map of this burning world. Reading the book is the journey itself. To truly feel the heat of the rebellion, the ice in President Snow's veins, and the impossible weight on Katniss's shoulders, you have to experience it through Suzanne Collins' powerful, urgent prose. The real story is not just in the events, but in the quiet moments of doubt, the flashes of courage, and the heartbreaking choices that define a hero. So, I urge you, don't let this be just another summary. Let it be the beginning. The link to purchase Catching Fire is in the description below. Go on the journey, fan the flames, and discover for yourself what it means to be the Mockingjay. And as always, if you found value in our deep dive today, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories that change the way you see the world.